In this demonstration, I'm going to take a look at the delete list item step and how it functions inside a K2 workflow. You can really use this workflow step in any process that has a requirement to delete a list item from a list in a SharePoint site. It fits nicely in processes that use a SharePoint list to initiate an approve reject type workflow. For example, you might have a corporate announcements list that publishes announcements to the portal page of your SharePoint site. And in the case where an announcement gets rejected by the reviewer, you may just want to have the list item deleted from the announcements list. Let's take a look at the beginnings of a corporate announcement approval process that demonstrates this workflow step. Here I have a SharePoint list called Corporate Announcement Requests. It will be used to capture new announcement requests for an organization. And I've built in a K2 application to handle the approval process for these announcements before they get published to the main portal page of the site. So I've already configured the basics of an announcement approval process to begin automatically when an announcement item is added to this list. For this demonstration, I'll work on the reject path where I want the announcement to be deleted if the reviewer rejects it. To do this, I'll use the delete list items step, which can be found in the List Items menu group under the Workflow Steps tab in the ribbon menu at the top of the page. When you drag and drop the wizard step on the design canvas, the first window that opens up will ask you to specify the list item that you want to delete. In most cases, K2 automatically assumes that you want to delete the list item that you started the workflow from in your list by selecting that option and setting the list item dropdown to its item reference by default. In this case, I have two references available in this workflow. One that points to an approved version of this list item that comes out of the approval path, and the other is the list item that actually started the workflow as mentioned before. You could also use the Get List Item reference step in a previous step in your workflow to create a reusable reference to another list item. If we did that here, you would also see that list item's reference listed as an option in the list item dropdown. If those list items don't work for you or you don't have a list item reference available at all, you can also select the Browse to List Item option on this window. When you select this option, the wizard will ask you to first select the site collection where the list item lives. And then on the next window, it's going to ask you for the specific list that you want to delete from. You may need to create that list smart object and configure it for use in workflows if you don't see it in this list on this window. The next screen will ask you to provide some filter values to determine which list item or list items to delete in this step. However, for this demo, I know I want to delete the list item that started this workflow and is already referenced, so I'm going to back up from here and set the Use a List Item that is referenced in this workflow setting on the first window, and then select the Corporate Announcement Requests reference from the drop-down list. Now, before I move on, there's one more setting on this screen that I'd like to talk about, near the bottom, called Continue if Item is not found. If your requirement allows for the workflow to continue if the list item can't be found in the source list for some reason, then make sure you put a check in the box here. So moving on to the next screen, this is where we determine if the SharePoint recycle bin should be used when the list item is deleted in case you have a need to provide a restore capability in your process. In this example, I'm just going to select No. And that's it for the Delete Item wizard. So from here, I'll finish up and deploy the workflow, and then we'll go back to the SharePoint portal where I'll show you how this workflow works. To show you how the Delete List Item step works, and to save some time, I already have a new announcement sitting in the request list. This also means I should have a K2 task waiting for me in the K2 work list on the landing page of the portal site. So I'll go over there to look it over now. I'm just going to reject this announcement review task from the context menu made available in the work list for this item here. Okay, now let's go back to the Corporate Announcement Request list. And here you can see that the list item was successfully deleted from this list. We would like to thank you for watching this demo on how to use the Delete List Item wizard. We hope you have a better understanding of how and when you can use this workflow step within processes used by your organization.